Hey everyone, this is Paul from Shall We Compare Thee. Hope all is well. A few days after we recorded our Barbie vs. Life Size 2 podcast, Jade messaged me and told me she had some further thoughts about the Barbie phenomenon. So we recorded this mini episode where our Barbie talk took turns into Saturday Night Fever and Forrest Gump. Turns out I had further thoughts too. Did we come to any conclusions? Listen on. And if you want to watch Jade and I have this conversation and other extra goodies, please join Jade's Patreon at patreon.com/perfectlymarvelous. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Shall We Compare Thee. And, throw us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and or Spotify, just for good measure. Now, let's talk more Barbie, shall we?
And a 5, a 6, a 5, 6, 7, 8. Listeners, okay. I don't know how much of any of these conversations we're going to be using, but if this is appearing on, the Barbie podcast, our first recording, if we add this in, this is days later, and I've had many, many thoughts, and I just need to say them in a more, I don't know if it's even more clear way, but like a way that I just kind of can stand behind. I'm grappling with the fact that it is very human to worry constantly about getting things right, about being self-conscious. It's just self-awareness as my daily struggle, It's something that I always wish that I don't worry about, but I feel like if I were to not worry about it, like what other people think of me or how other people perceive me, I feel like if I would drop that worry, then I'm afraid. It's like I'm exposed. It's like our worries are almost protection,
Yeah.
It speaks to just growing up. Like, as immature as children, we have no fear. We have no, we hold nothing back,
Well, it seems that your worries are doing that. They're not. It seems that way. It seems that, the more you worry about something, the more you're going to get something right, or the more you're going to be inclusive of everybody and all this stuff. But that's not how it works.
Right.
Worrying about it is not going to help anything. So talk about your conflictions here.
Well, the thing that bothered me the most after I saw the Barbie film that I didn't bring up on our first recording is the fact that I feel that all the Barbies should be punished or something. Like, I wanted them to have repercussions or consequences for turning the men against one another. And I couldn't figure out, it was bothering me so much why I wanted Barbie to be punished. And as I was watching Saturday Night Fever, I did not feel that way. And maybe other people do feel this way. They want to see Tony Manero suffer or punished for being a terrible person, because he's pretty terrible. I never felt, the film it hangs on the expectation that the audience will emotionally connect to John Travolta because he's so charismatic, and that we will have sympathy for him.
Right.
And I was able to watch Saturday Night Fever completely forgiving Tony Manero for everything he did wrong, because he felt like such a product of his society and the time period, and none of it felt like he should be held responsible. Like you said, it's like a fable or a fairy tale. That's the way that both films, Saturday Night Fever and Barbie, that is the way that they're meant to be watched. If you are taking these films at face value, you're not going to get it. People who are taking Barbie as, on the surface, everything that they say is true and fact, are very bothered by it, because what you're supposed to do is see this as like a dark fairy tale, a cautionary fairy tale, a fable,
Right.
Archetypes.
So let's go back to this idea that the Barbies should be punished. For what?
Well, for actively turning men into animals,
Kens. Ken's.
Ken's, yes.
Right.
Yes.
So,
and so the reason is because Ken, I was able to have a lot more sympathy for Ken. A lot of people are saying Ken is their favorite character. It's like I could emotionally relate to him in the same way that I could emotionally relate to Tony Manero, because I saw his pain, I saw his backstory, I saw his family, I saw the way that he was being put down. And I can relate to that myself.
Right, but as you just said, Tony wasn't a perfect person. He did some pretty terrible things.
Right, and neither is Ken. But it's like the Kens turning Barbies into, fembots, essentially, like Bitmos. Right. That seemed, for some reason, I'm not saying it's good or not. I'm saying as I was watching the film, it seemed justified, because I remembered when Ken was always under Barbie's thumb and he was always, hey, what about me? I'm left out. Like, that's something I could emotionally connect to. I could relate to.
Well, this is kind of a kind of the underdog story then, where it's like we tend to root for the underdogs. And we, as human beings, we want to see, the team that's down 24 points to make it up and make it a game. We like to see that as much as possible. It's part of our human natures. We want to see, somebody succeed like that. So in this movie, the Barbies in Barbie Land rule, and the Kens, not in Kenland or Kendom yet, but in Barbie Land, they're not subservient. They're not like handing them drinks and doing their laundry. They're just existing.
They're not slaves. Yeah, they're not slaves. They're afterthoughts. They're accessories. And
but as soon as Ken brings the patriarchy back to Barbie Land, and it becomes Kendom, now they're wearing French maid outfits. Now they're bringing beers. Now they're doing those things that the Kens weren't doing. They weren't serving the Barbies. They were just existing alongside the Barbies, and the Barbies could take or leave them.
Right.
That, for some reason, that's the big sin of the Barbies, is they could take or leave the Kens.
Yeah, right.
Let's talk about the real world for a second. There's a lot of people that can take or leave me. That's like, I've seen some arguments about there of like the incel culture out there that's angry about this, which is kind of weird because Barbies and Kens don't have sex. But, this whole idea that, that women are somehow punishing men they're punishing men by not paying attention to them. That's a very strange concept to me, a man, to be like, oh, well, I'm mad at the women because they're not fawning all over me. That's fine. They don't have to fawn all over me. If that happens, it happens. And I
don't even think Ken was like saying he wanted Barbie to fawn on him. He just wanted like
attention.
Yeah, it's reciprocation of his feelings.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what it
and
is,
he doesn't even, and he doesn't even know what his feelings are. All he knows is he's supposed to be with Barbie. He's not even sure why. That's why by the end of the movie, when he's wearing the I'm a Kenneth shirt, that's a step towards realizing that he doesn't need Barbie. He can hang out with Barbie and maybe something happens.
Well, it's his realization that he is more than his label, just like Tony Manero is more than his label. He is put in, he's born into a certain culture and a certain society, a certain time, where a white Italian man with his amount of money and, where his position, he had all kinds of names put on him, like imposed on him, expectations. Mm-hmm. And what he's choosing to do is to reject them and go after something no one else wants for him. No one else, he's not doing what is, he's not doing he's following his heart is what he's doing. And he's like looking into himself. He's not even looking to Stephanie anymore, because Stephanie says like, can you just be friends with me? It's so similar to Barbie. It's crazy. Like
right.
Stephanie is asserting her voice and her women's lib power, and she's saying, can you handle this? Because if you can't hang with me. And he's saying, right. I've never thought that I would want to do this, but I think that this is right for me. I think that this is, even though no one's ever told me that this could be good, and this is not the norm, where this is not anything that I saw, like women being equal, women being friends. It's so foreign to him that he's thinking it feels like love. It feels right.
Right.
I'm gonna try for it. I'm gonna abandon all stability in order to try for what feels like it's my heart. And that's exactly what Barbie is doing. The difference is, and that's exactly what Ken is doing. Like you're saying, he is Kenough. He's been told, he's been labeled by Mattel, whatever, you know, that Ken needs Barbie. Okay, now go do that thing. And Barbie has been told, you're just perfect, especially being stereotypical Barbie. She's almost like the Barbie of all the Barbies, you know, she's the Barbiest Barbie. So she's just been told, you're perfect. Your job is perfect. Good. Now go. So what this film is doing, essentially, it's asking you to view it not as humans. Once you start looking at these people as humans, you've lost the plot completely. You're supposed to look at them as concepts, and what the film is doing is giving you it's giving you a Ken doll and a Barbie doll and saying, okay, child, go play. And it's asking us to all it's a dying art, really, because children more and more nowadays are not playing with actual dolls anymore.
No.
They are playing video games. They're having stories told to them. They're watching films. You know, everything's on a screen, like a touch screen. And they're not actually sitting alone in a quiet room with two blank canvases of man and woman in front of them and creating just from nothing. Like, children are not doing that anymore. They're doing it. We're programming people. This film is saying to you, wake up. Are you in a box? Are you abiding by whatever label society has put on you? Do you want to do that? Wake up and answer these questions. Play. Go. We're giving you all the field is yours. And people are going, fuck you, movie. Like, that's so scary. It's so open-ended.
But so, you know, it's not like it's 50% of the people watching it are happy and 50% of the people watching it are pissed off. It's like 90% of the people watching it are happy and 10% of the people that are watching it are
It's so funny you have this concept. I have it like way more as of even almost 50-50. So many people do not like this that I've been seeing and that I've been talking to.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know who you're talking to.
I'm friends with a lot of actors and writers, and they have a lot of issues with. So it's so funny. Like, me in New York, you would think that way more that I would be, from my perspective, that I would be like, oh, everyone loves this, but no, like, I see it as a lot more people. Well, I see it as about 50-50. And you don't see that.
No, not at all. Not at all. Most people that I know have seen it, and I rented to somebody yesterday who's now seen it 3 times, loves it. You know, and most of them are women that have seen it, but a few men, and they thought it was funny and entertaining. And, you know, we haven't really sat down and talked about the messages and things like that, and maybe we will, maybe we won't. But, you know, you look at like just reviews, and you know, I know there's review bombing going on right now where all people that hate it are trying to get onto their cinema scores and give it 1 star, 1 star, 1 star, 1 star, so that, you know, as people are leaving the theaters, it's getting like 90% cinema score, and as people are going home on their computers, it's getting like 70% cinema score, because people are trying to bring it down.
Yeah,
but I still think it's not 50-50. It's not 50-50 worldwide, for sure. Because a movie that's divisive 50-50 is not doing as well as it's doing right now. It's just not. And they're voting with their dollars. And the votes are in, and people really love this movie. And, you know, for everybody who has, you know, I'm sure there's people who liked it but still have problems with it. I mean, you're one of them. And I'm sure there's people who hate it. And that's fine. That's fine.
What's funny is, like, I don't even have, like, to say that I have problems with it it's too, that's too easy to say. It's not even like I have problems with this film. It's like I have problems with what this film is asking me to, the questions it's asking me to answer. Since the film's not going to do it for me, the film does not answer my questions. It opens up tons of questions. And I feel now responsible to answer them for myself. And because I can't easily, That's my issue. My issue is with me.
Yeah. And that's where it should end. I mean, because all the other noise around you, all the people around you who have their different opinions and maybe like it, maybe don't. Who cares? You like it or don't like it. You have problems or don't have problems. You have questions or don't have questions. That's what's important. You know, I'm still thinking about this movie a week later from seeing it. That's a great thing for a movie to do to you.
Right.
Especially a big blockbuster movie. Like, you know, I was thinking about, you know, you bring up Saturday Night Fever. I was thinking about a couple of Christopher Nolan films that are sort of open-ended. There's Memento. Have you seen Memento?
Mm-mm.
Great movie.
It's no, I've seen Memento. Yes, I have.
With Guy Pearce, and it goes backwards. But it ends sort of ambiguously. Sort of ends.
Put the emphasis on the wrong syllable.
Yeah, I sure did.
Like they do that in Barbie. Remember, she's like, "Is this the Godfather?" That was so funny.
That's still great. And then there's Inception, which ends with the spinning top, and you want to know, well, are we in the dreamland? Are we out of dreamland? We don't know. And I remember after seeing that movie, sitting down with people going, so what do you think? And people were like, well, definitely we're not in dreamland anymore. And people were like, no, the top is still spinning. We must be in dreamland. And it's like, it doesn't matter. And it kind of is like, you know, we were saying before, a Rorschach test of what you think of these things and how it affects you.
Yeah.
You know, the people that are coming in with all the hate and all the anti-man, and you know, there's now a movement where it's like, oh no, it's not anti-man, it's not woke, it's anti-woke.
Well, yes,
what it's really saying is men need to wake up, and men need to take things over.
Yeah, it's saying it's forcing you to confront the stereotypes that are within you. Like I said, asking you, do you want to be in the box or not? And it's asking an existential question. What am I for? There's the Billie Eilish song, "What am I for?" in the film. It's all like, it's facing your own mortality. It's coming of age, even as an adult. And I think that it should not be overlooked, the fact that Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling are in their 30s and 40s in this film. This would not be the same if we were watching someone in their 20s. This film is very, very, it knows what it's doing. And if you're watching this, people are having a hard time remembering that this is fucking satire. Like I said, fable, fairy tale. If you can't understand that this is completely sincere and completely satire at the same time. You can have it. People are like, they can't have their cake and eat it too. Yes, they can. It is called playing. What do you think playing with dolls is? It is sincere satire. It's a parody of life. Yeah, that's what this film is. It's life parody.
Yeah.
It's too much for people. They need to literalize it. They need to box it. They need to label it. And it's like, you can do all that, but it's just going to make you angry. Like,
you know, you and I have an affinity for old movies. We have an affinity for old musicals. And what we know, and we're, you know, you're a theater person and I was an actor, kind of. And what we have in loving those things, we have an appreciation of the broad, an appreciation of the exaggerated. No one is watching the sequence in Singing of the Rain where Gene Kelly is singing in the rain and thinking, oh my God, really bad rainstorm that day. No, it's a soundstage and there's rain coming down and it's you know, it's all controlled.
I'm having a easier time understanding what the film is doing and how to watch the film when I remember that I need to stop labeling it. I need to drop my expectations of what I think humans should do or what's right for humans, because that's just not what this film is. Like, the speech by America Ferrera is what wakes the women up, because they've never, they didn't know that there was such a thing as struggle or pain.
Right.
All they knew Right. All they knew was like, I just do my perfect job and my perfect life and everything is perfect. Oh, I get a vacation from perfect. Sounds cool. Okay. Vacation, vacation. And like, they're just doing what they're told, like children, you know, when America Ferrera says, hey, guess what? There's struggle, there's pain, there's suffering, there's not every day is easy to be the woman president or to be the nuclear physicist or the Nobel Prize, you know, it's not just I get a label and off I go. It's like there's nuance, there's you know, so that's kind of what wakes them all up. It's the woke, it's the awakening happening, you know. And for Barbie to decide to not even like Barbie her journey is to end the journey and completely start a new one, is to say, I don't even want to attempt to be Barbie anymore. I can't label myself. Like Ruth Handler is asking her, what kind of Barbie are you? Self-effacing Barbie? Like put a label on yourself. We need to figure out how we're going to sell you. How are we going to box this new stereotypical Barbie? And she goes, maybe I'm just not Barbie at all.
Yeah.
And I had like a really hard time with it. I was just like, what is this film doing? Oh my God, it's all over the place. Like, no, what it is doing is it's like handing you the blank page. It's handing you the script. It's like, it overwhelmed me, I think, because it was so unexpected.
A good story.
I kept wanting to normalize it in my mind and to put it in a box, you know, and make it like other films. And won't let you do that.
You know, it's a reminder that, you know, satires and fables and things like this can always be seen from multiple perspectives, depending on, again, it's a Rorschach test. I'm assuming, or maybe I shouldn't, you've seen the movie Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I was going to describe the movie Forrest Gump, I would say it's about this guy, Forrest Gump. It's not that bright, but we know that he's very loyal to America. He loves America. He also loves his mama, and he loves his childhood sweetheart, Jenny. And he has the front audience of all these great events of the 20th century. But what he really wants to do is go back and see his mama and be with Jenny. Now, his reward in that movie is that he becomes wealthy and he becomes famous, and he gets Jenny. So, great movie. Won a bunch of Oscars, Tom Hanks Oscars, movie Oscars, great. That's the Forrest Gump movie. The Jenny movie is different.
Yeah.
And the Jenny movie is running concurrently with the Forrest Gump movie. Jenny, who is physically, emotionally, and kind of inferred sexually abused as a child.
Oh, yeah.
She becomes a hippie, a beatnik. She becomes part of the Black Panthers. She smokes pot. She does coke. She has sex out of marriage. Her reward, I mean, she finally ends up with Forrest, but her reward is AIDS and an early death.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So I have people in my life who love the movie Forrest Gump. And I have described that movie that way to them. And they get very angry. They're like, that's not what that movie's about. And it's like, sure it is, because we see it. Zemeckis, the director, Robert Zemeckis, will show us a scene of Forrest Gump doing something. He's on TV talking to John Lennon. He's playing ping pong. He's doing his Bubba Gump Shrimp Company. He's doing great. And then within the same scene, it will montage over to Jenny, and Jenny is about to jump off the ledge.
Yeah, right.
And it is blatantly, in my opinion, not anybody else's, my opinion, it is making the dichotomy there. It is making you see that if you're loyal and don't think too much, you can be wealthy and happy. And if you're not, and you think too much, you're going to die early.
Well, and it's like, what if Tony Manero decided to say, yeah, I am awesome at this dance contest. Thanks for that number one trophy. Like, no, his maturity and his stepping into his next phase of life is to say, no, you know what? everything's been, given to me. It's all made so easy and everything. This is not fulfilling. Like Barbie, perfection is hollow. And even though I could very easily stay here and be perfect and have everything, go coast through my life.
Right.
It's like the choice to make things harder is fucking human.
Yeah.
That's what all we do as humans. We make things hard so that we create problems so that we can fix them and feel satisfied. Humanism, being human.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so silly, but it's so exact. That is it.
And the fact that this is kind of the only movie of its kind where the women are the Barbies, are in charge and the Kens are off to the side. I mean, think of every single, I know this is not your genre, so you may not know this, but so many action films start with our hero in bed with some woman.
Right.
And then they get the hero call and they're like, sorry,
gotta
go hero. And she says, well, what about me? And it's like, oh no, I'll call you. We'll get you a cab. I think the Ryan Reynolds, the Green Lantern movie, he says, oh yeah, no, there's water in the tap, and then leaves to become a hero. And we never see that woman again. I've always wanted to write a movie about those women getting together, like for brunch, and just being like, so what'd you do last night? I met a guy. He was really great. I went home with him. I know. Don't tell me, but he was really cute. She was really cute. And then he disappeared in the morning and his butler drew me home. And nobody ever cares. Nobody ever complains. Women don't even complain.
Right.
They don't say, another movie. James Bond, every single cold open of James Bond, almost everyone, he's ending up with some woman that never shows back up in the movie.
Right.
Never. And it's just like a little sports sex moment that he gets, and then he's off to do hero things, and nobody ever complains. So the fact that men are complaining that they're not the main focus of this movie, and they're being tricked by the women to take their own land back. I mean, it is called Barbie Land, not Kendom. It's Barbie Land. The fact that they're upset about that says a lot more about them than it does about the movie.
Well, it's like whatever this film makes you feel upset about is exactly what the film is asking you to address in yourself.
Exactly.
All of the issues like that I had with it are, like I said, questions that are unsettled within me. And
that's great, though. That's great. So good.
It's so much easier to just be a boxed creature. It's so easy to be something that was created rather than the creator.
Yeah. It's true.
And it's like I said, play is a lost art. It's a dying art that if you are struggling with the open-ended questions, it's like, when was the last, have you become unable to use your imagination, to play?
What do you think about...
Where is your agency and autonomy? Yeah. Why are you so upset that that you're not being given answers and you have to, it feels threatening, I think, to people who are upset with the film, because first of all, what they're doing, it seems, is they're taking everything literally. And then when that literalness upsets them, they shut down and they push it away and they look away and they say, well, the things that I've been told don't jive with that. And it's like, because the film is saying maybe the things you were told about you are bullshit. If you're so unhappy, stop being that way.
Or maybe some of the things they've told you about you is true. That's the other part of it.
Right. Well, it's because it's become true because you've lived it into existence, Right. It's like Tony Manero is not an asshole. He's dropped in and raised. It's like he's a non-asshole raised by assholes. Inevitably, you're going to become a product of your environment,
Well, I think in terms of Tony Manero, I think he starts off as, I don't know if he's an asshole, but definitely, an uncaring person.
Arrogant.
And then we see the growth through the movie. But we don't see the end of the growth because that ending is just as ambiguous. It is the spinning top in Inception. It is the end of Barbie. It is all that stuff. It's ambiguous. He ends up at the apartment and the credits roll.
Right.
And I remember when I first watched that movie and the credits rolled, I was like, okay. All right, they're just leaving this one open-ended. Okay, this is
like
cool.
I said, you brought up The Graduate last time. It also, I just realized it says something about Tony, the way that he chooses to be with the one person who insulted him. The one person who said you're going nowhere fast is the one person he runs to. Help me. Yeah. I'm feeling not okay. It's like allowing the challenge and the amount of work that you've yet to do, allowing that to feel exciting rather than annoying. Yeah. It's just like allow it to be so, going to the gynecologist isn't fun for anyone. Any woman will back me up on that. Barbie is like thrilled to be there in an excited way. It's like you can flip anything. You can see anything from either the negative or maybe the let's just go with an open heart and maybe possibilities they're endless, Yeah. Just nothing is inherently good or bad, but that's a quote that I love. There is no good nor evil, but thinking makes it so, right?
Right. Well, and, I wanted to come back to something you were saying before about the dolls. I wonder if that sense of play is going to come back because of this movie. I'm expecting a huge surge of Barbie paraphernalia and Barbie dolls and Ken dolls.
Hell yes.
And Alan dolls. Come on, Alan dolls. You can do it. You can do it,
Hell
Alan
yes.
dolls. But
no, I have started writing poetry again. So this film has brought up so many questions within me. It's made me feel very angry. It's made me feel sad. It's made me feel overjoyed. It's made me just run the gamut of my emotions. And something that I stopped doing a long time ago was writing poetry. I used to do it as a kid. Like I said, I never played with dolls, but I always wrote scripts for my dad and my sister and my friends to act out. And I would direct. That was my jam as a kid. So I didn't know how to pick up the dolls myself, but I could pick up a pen and paper and I could imagine the dolls in my mind and what they would say and what I wanted them to do. So that was how I played, Yeah. And that's what you're saying is so exactly true. I've started to feel so much better every day in myself and in my acting, in my podcast, whatever, all the facets of my life, just because I started writing poetry again. It's almost therapy, but what I mean is it's what this film is kind of. Barbie is holding up a mirror to yourself and asking you, do you like what you see? That's kind of what my poetry does. It's it's what journaling is. It just reflects your own thoughts back to you so that you can say, now, how do I want to take this as fact and truth, or do I want to fucking rip it up and, flip the script, change it, So
can I say something?
That's my version of poetry, coming back.
A blockbuster movie about dolls got you there.
Yeah.
That is incredible. And that speaks to the power of this movie. If this was just a silly, I enjoyed the Lego movie. It's fine. I got some laughs out of that. But it didn't hit anybody like this movie is hitting people.
Right.
And I think because the movie tries to play as fair as it possibly can across both, it's saying patriarchy is bad, but any archy is bad.
Well, it's saying that overcorrecting feminism is not the way. It's just as bad as the patriarchy. That's why I don't understand. I don't understand men who are so upset with this film, because it's saying
because they've got these blinders on. They've got the blinders on, and they're it is again. It's like you were saying this before. It's like you've got to go into this movie if you want to see this movie. If you don't want to see this movie, it's fine. It's a movie. It's a movie, and it is what it is. But if you want to really experience this movie and get something out of it, you got to go in with open eyes, open heart, open brain, and just let it happen.
And
then
just know.
and then see where you're at. You might still be angry at the end of this movie. That's fair. You might be
you probably will. And that's probably right.
Yeah. I was not angry at the end of this movie. I had a ball.
Paul, very few people are as well adjusted as you are, though. I'm not saying that jokingly, actually. Like, you are very well adjusted, and that's why I love talking with you, because you always are. Yeah,
my therapist tells me that every month.
Wait, really?
Yeah, really. No, he doesn't. He doesn't tell me that I'm well adjusted. No.
You're good at reminding me to not take shit so seriously. And that is like the lesson. That's like the secret to life that only like 100-year-old people are aware of, you know? Just, God, it's not so fucking serious. It's like this film tells you how to watch it. No, Paul is not 100. But no, it's like you have a very high maturity level.
If I'm 100, I look great. Come on. You want to know my skin? You want to know my skin secrets? So you know what? We got to end there, because I just got the best compliment I ever got in my life, and I'm just going to be like, right. I'm not even listening to whatever you're just saying now. I've just completely tuned you out.
It's true. Paul is one of the most attractive people I have ever seen in my life, and the clamoring for his presence everywhere, you know, it's understood.
Okay, now you're overselling it just a tiny bit. Let's back that off just a tad.
Okay.
not all the way, but just a tad.
Not all the way. What I was going to say before I forget, though, is that the film tells you how to view it with its opening. It's a send-up of 2001. What is 2001? It's a send-up in itself. It is a satire of the human experience. And 2001 is like, it's weird to say it's a satire, but it's like a critique on society. I mean, it is like, it's talking about just being fucking human. That's what. Yeah. So to send up the send up, that's what Barbie is. It is such a fucking send up. It's like, hey guys, for the next 2 hours, we're going to send up the human experience. We're just going to satirize your entire existence. How do you like that? People are so offended. Well, I mean, some people are loving it, and those are my people, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, make fun of me. Funny. Again, let's all make fun of ourselves. Let's fall on our faces.
I think if you look at the box office, you'll see that there are more people than not that are enjoying this movie. Yeah. But I will also say this. I think Greta Gerwig made the movie she wanted to make. And she wanted this feeling from people. She wanted people to have these discussions. Yeah. Because if she didn't, she would have made another movie, or Mattel would have been like, let's get, who's that guy that does all those Will Ferrell movies? Adam McKay. Let's get him. Because sometimes he does touchy stuff. He did The Big Short. I mean, Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling, both in The Big Short. They would work with him again. And we'll make it pointed, but we'll also make it, a lot funnier and a lot, I mean, I don't know how you make this movie funnier. It is fucking hilarious.
Yeah. It's constant.
But she made the movie she wanted to make, and Mattel let her make the movie that she wanted to make. And any minor little pickies that they may have had don't interrupt the flow of what she was trying to do. She got to make her statement, and everybody else gets to make their statement too. If people who want to go online and be angry about this movie, have at it. You might want like 2 or 3 keyboards because you might break one, but you can go ahead and do it. And if you want to love this movie, you feel free to love this movie. And if you want to be conflicted by this movie and start writing poetry again and internalize it that way, more power to you. This is the great thing about art. Stand in front of, one of those big just all red paint canvases at a museum, and you'll get like 70 different people standing in front of it having different opinions of what it means. Oh, that's love. Oh, that's anger. Oh, that's nothing. And all the things in between. And that's what art does. This is a very artistic movie. And we don't get a lot of blockbusters that are like that. We get great action films, we get great comedies, but we don't get ones that really like make you really dive into yourself.
For me, I'm not going to back away on my what I think is that it is a little too much. It's a little like too constant, overwhelming, like overstimulation for me. It's something that
And by the way, you're not alone. Dana Stevens, who writes for Slate, I was listening to their culture podcast, and they went through this movie, and she really liked the movie, but she also said that she was at times overwhelmed by all the things that were happening and all the ideas that were coming out. Ultimately, like you, she liked the movie quite a bit, but it, like you, it left her wondering about certain things.
But you know what I think that is, Paul, is that I'm in a transition phase of my life, of my growing up. And you're not. You're in, like I said, you are very, it's not like you're complacent or anything, but you are always aware. You have a great way of stepping back and seeing the broader picture. It's like a your kaleidoscope is easily like adjustable. Your telescope is easily zoomed in or zoomed out for what it needs to be. Mine is
middle
not.
Middle child.
Right. Yeah. I am not like that though. It takes me time to adjust to different perspectives, and I can get really, really, really hung up on the details. And especially when it comes to my own thoughts, my own self-identity, my own self-awareness, when I'm asked to question that, or when I'm asked to like answer questions about it, I get really uneasy, and it shuts me down. It makes me scared. So my first feeling toward the film was fear, for sure. And it's taken me days to sit with it and to warm up to confronting it. And just by confronting it, confronting myself. And
you were offered the high heel and the Birkenstock.
Mm-hmm.
And taking that Birkenstock is a scary step, literally. Because Birkenstocks are the worst, but also...
No, they rock.
I've never owned a pair. Sorry, Birkenstock. We're going to lose that Birkenstock sponsorship. Oh, I get it.
But what I was going to say is that in your 30s, what you're asked, what I'm constantly being asked is like, the label society puts on a 30-year-old woman, your biological clock is ticking, time to have a child. And I'm just like, no. I don't think so, though, for me. I just say no to that one. That's a hard no.
Yeah.
And now I've got to be okay with my choice, and I have to own my choice.
Now,
and
for the people listening out there,
it makes me feel insecure.
Now, for people out there, Jade and I are adopting, and we're taking applications. So, if you'd like to be, we'll share you long distance between Tacoma and New York. It's fine. No, I mean those, and one of the things that I was reading an interview with Greta Gerwig is that the thing that she was really wanted to make sure that she covered in this is that the transitions that women go through, men go through a lot of the same stuff, just in a different way. They go through that. I mean, I remember feeling the pressure when my 30s, and in like, oh well, time's a wasting. What are you doing?
Yeah.
And then, you get into your 40s and time has wasted. And then you get in your 50s, well, at least for me, and it's like I've got a nice little life. It's not the greatest, but it's also not the worst. It's pretty cool. And I'm, not 100% happy, but I'm getting there. And, if you're on your path to that, then you're doing the right thing. The biggest thing that I'll repeat from the last episode is like, get rid of the hate. It's okay to be uncomfortable. It's okay to be confused. It's okay to be not sure of what you're doing, but you don't have to hate others when you're feeling that.
The fact that you're told to be sure is another lie. It's just another box, another label.
Yeah.
And what I found is, like you were saying, representation, like all the Allens out there, clap if you feel me. Same thing with like all the weird Barbies out there. Like,
right.
Give me a whoop whoop if you were a weird Barbie, because what I just realized is that all of a sudden, I'm not Barbie, I'm weird Barbie. And that is right. That is okay. That is more than okay. That's fucking awesome.
Right. And nobody had to draw on your face or make you do the splits to get there.
Oh, I am permanently in the splits, which is what's even more funny about that. Seriously, I am constantly just 100% of my life. I walk around in the full splits.
But Weird Barbie has all the knowledge.
Well,
Weird Barbie has, she knows what's going on.
Hell yeah.
And it's like being Alan, when we picked our favorite characters, our favorite stuff, Weird Barbie and Alan both got votes. And I think there's a reason for that, is that they seem well actualized. Even when Alan at the beginning of it is like, yeah, I don't know why there's no other Alans. But then he kind of is just like, he kind of asserts himself and just like, yeah, this is who I am. And Weird Barbie is way more actualized, and she's like, I know exactly who I am.
Yeah, there's not a lot of the Weird Barbies. There's not a lot of the Allens. They're one. They're singular. They are unique. They are one of a kind. That's human. Yeah. Again, they can't fall into a label, a category, a group necessarily, other than the other group, the miscellaneous. And that's the box I want to check for myself, because once you start identifying with an archetype, like that's what I was doing. And that's why it was causing me a lot of sadness, because I was afraid of the fact that I could only really identify with stereotypical Barbie who has no identity. And I'm like, fuck, what does that say about me? Damn it. What have I become? And then it's like, no. Look at your poetry. Look at your tears. Look at you trying to look in the mirror and figure out the answers, Jade. Guess what? You're Weird Barbie. Stereotypical Barbie wouldn't do any of this stuff. She would just go, I'm going to be la, 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 like perfect time, wake up, go to bed, D. Like if you're not doing that, that means you ain't stereotypical Barbie anymore.
Right.
Good.
Most of us are Weird Barbie. Weird Barbie is the majority. The majority. Even people that you might look at and go, oh, they're stereotypical Barbie. I think on the inside, that person is Weird Barbie. Exactly,
because it is crazy. I think that the amount of people that I encounter who they go, wait, you get scared? Like, wait, what? And I'm like, you can't see that this is all fake? You believe this confidence? Wow. Like that never ceases to amaze me that people don't think I'm confident.
Yeah.
I mean, that people think I am as confident as I seem. That shocks me. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, man, wow. So I think that what I take away, my large theme that I think of when I think of this film is let your freak flag fly, and you embrace the fucking weird that you are.
Amen.
Because it is beautiful.
Amen. Yeah.
Tyra would agree. Tyra Banks.
Tyra would agree.
She would be like, yes, put my movie on that one too. I think that is, Life Size has got it going on too, It's perfect is boring, and it's not real.
Release Life Size 1, you bastards.
Release it. I know.
You cowards. Release it. Let us enjoy that.
Yeah, please. Yeah, weirdness is a sign that you've lived. Wrinkles are laugh lines,
Yeah. It's
beautiful.
It is, we're all flawed, and isn't that wonderful? It reminds me of They Might Be Giants song where he says, nobody in the world ever gets what they want, and that is beautiful. Everybody dies frustrated and sad, and that is beautiful. On. Yeah. Right on. The Jon Snow.
There's to put one more thing on that. You die alone for the majority of your life. You are alone, and I think that that's not something to be afraid of anymore. Like that otherness, that the fact that I don't have a group to call home, it's just not as scary as it is supposed to sound.
Yeah.
If it sounds scary because it's supposed to sound scary, say fuck you, scary.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna buy into that myth. The biggest lie ever told is that, fear is bad or scary.
Yeah.
Scary ain't scary.
Scary ain't scary. Well, folks, we're going to release this as an extra little podcast. So you'll be getting this in your feed you're listening to it now. So you've gotten this in your feed. Oh, I've just told the future. Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
We are from the future. Again. We are from the future.
Exactly.
Every time we talk on a podcast, we're from the future.
I can't.
I know.
These are heavy concepts. But I hope you enjoyed this little bit of extra Barbie talk. And we'll be coming with you soon with our trifecta of
You've Got
Shop
Mail.
Around the Corner. You've Got Mail.
Shop Around the Corner.
In the Good Old Summertime, starring...
Yes, Judy Garland.
There it is. All right, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.